Have to do today is that we are going to be going over two stories, The Monster Beneath the Sea and Earthshaker's Bad Day. To make it a little easier, I'm using just my screencasting, so you won't see my face today. Stop it. Okay, come on. We have a turn and talk. What is the cause of the earthquakes according to Earthshaker's Bad Day and the Monster Beneath the Sea? How are the causes similar or different? This turn and talk prompts us for what we're going to be doing later with our language analysis. So you're really just going to compare and find differences between the two stories and determine how these stories explain the cause of earthquakes. I want to remind you that these stories are myths. Shh. I want to remind you that these stories are myths. And so that means that they're not going to tell you a real scientific reason why earthquakes were made, but a reason that other people came up with. I'm so sorry if you hear my son. He's in the background. He's trying to help. Slade, you say hi.
Hi.
Okay, we're going to review the stories Earthshaker's Bad Day and The Monster Beneath the Sea, and then you're going to do in your Reading Writer's Journal, your language analysis on page 253 is where I found it. It might be 254 for you. So you're going to use evidence from the text and answer the following questions about earthquakes. Which two texts are similar in structure? So you're going to notice that the earthquake story we read previously is not similar in structure, so your focus is going to be on Earthshaker's Bad Day and The Monster Beneath the Sea. And then you're going to answer how they're similar. So maybe you can say that they're both myths. That's how they're similar. Which texts are factual? Which are imaginary? Earthquakes, the text we read at the beginning of this module A, is factual. I want to remind you that Earthshaker's Bad Day and The Monster Beneath the Sea are not factual. How does the purpose of Earthshaker's Bad Day and The Monster Beneath the Sea differ from earthquakes? So remember that whenever we have a scientific text or a text that is factual, their purpose is to explain reasoning for something. And whenever we have fiction stories like Earthshaker's Bad Day and The Monster Beneath the Sea, that their purpose is to tell a story. So it is not the same purpose as to give factual information. How are the visuals in earthquakes different from Earthshaker's Bad Day? You're just going to look, you probably don't have the story in front of you. Remember, earthquakes had real pictures and diagrams that showed real damage, and Earthshaker's Bad Day does not have, it's illustrated, so it does not have the same pictures. Writing. Write your own myth. We're going to be doing myths on earthquakes today in writing. Some things you need to be aware of is your characters, so who will be in your story, your setting, where the story will take place, and the dialogue, what is being said. So my idea for you guys is to pick at least two main characters. So in the story, The Monster Beneath the Sea, we have Namzu and Kashmi, and those are the two main characters. And the setting is actually Japan, and there's parts of the setting of that story in the water and on the land of Japan. And there's dialogue where both characters and even like the baker and the artist speak. Remember that dialogue is supposed to help your story. Dialogue is a function, and it's supposed to either give you details out loud that you wouldn't know that might be stuck in someone's head, or tell you how someone's feeling. Remember to use dialogue, you need to use parentheses, and make sure you indent if you start a new paragraph. Remember, when we're using dialogue, it's like a movie screen. So if one person's talking, that's one paragraph. But if you suddenly switch screens and the person over there is talking, you have to start a new paragraph. And that means you have to move to a new line and indent. Okay, so for this myth on earthquakes, this was my idea, is I was going to use SpongeBob and Patrick. They're two characters from SpongeBob. And my setting's going to be underwater, but it's actually going to explain the earthquakes in Hawaii. And so if I was going to do this, I would have to use Hawaii as my setting up here. And it'd be Hawaii and the underwaters of Hawaii. I'd put my characters, SpongeBob and Patrick, here. And the problem. And for my problem here is I'm going to say that SpongeBob and Patrick were having fun and they were catching a jellyfish. And this is a huge, big jellyfish. And they kept like trying to catch this jellyfish, and this jellyfish, because it's so huge and massive, whenever it hit against rocks or hit the ocean floor, it caused earthquakes. But it's not the jellyfish's issue, like it's not the poor jellyfish's problem. It's SpongeBob and Patrick trying to catch this poor little jellyfish. And then here's my sequence of events. So I'd start with introducing SpongeBob and Patrick. I would start with introducing the fact that they like to go jellyfishing, and that's their version of fun. I then introduce the actual problem, which is going to be the huge giant jellyfish. I'm going to call him Bigfoot jellyfish because he's going to be as huge as Bigfoot. And then I'm going to explain what would happen after that. My outcome is going to be that SpongeBob and Patrick eventually realize that it's not the big old Bigfoot jellyfish's problem, it's actually their problem, and so that they need to stop trying to hunt jellyfish because it's not safe for them. And this is my theme is going to be overall is like looking at your actions and how they affect others. So SpongeBob and Patrick make the mistake of causing a huge issue, not just for the people in the water, but the people of Hawaii, because they cause this huge old giant jellyfish, Bigfoot jellyfish, to rattle the whole entire state of Hawaii. And so the theme would be really just to like make sure your actions align with what you want, and just because you're having fun doesn't mean everyone's having fun. Okay, so this actually, the myths on earthquakes, is a throwback to our last Unit 2. Remember in Unit 2 we did a myth that showed how something on Earth came about, and so now we're applying the myths to just earthquakes. And in this, you don't have to tell us how earthquakes came about. You can, if that's the easiest for you to do, but you're just going to tell us a story about earthquakes, similar to like Earthshaker's Bad Day and the Monsters Beneath the Sea. If you have any questions or concerns or need more help, please let me know or let your homeroom teacher know. Have a great day!